This is a first time I'm trying this, never done this before. I've gotten a lot of questions about the webinars I've been doing. I do them once a month called the Six Levers webinar. I'll drop a link or something like that in the bottom. People have been asking like what it's about, etc. The point of the webinar is to show non-tech people, this is based on the book I wrote, is to show non-tech people how they can use AI to take an idea they have bouncing around in their head and quickly build an actual app out of it. So showing you how you as a business person, entrepreneur, someone with a job, church leader, pastor can take ideas for tools you have and make the actual tool, even if you're not a developer, you never done a line of code. I'm going to build one right now live for you, and I don't think it's going to take more than probably a half hour-ish. So that's how simple it is. I am using tools and techniques from the Six Levers webinar. So you need more information about that, like, do the webinar. It's not a free webinar. It's a 2-day webinar, 2 hours per day with Q&A, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I can't do it for free, but it's very simple. It's very affordable. So that's kind of the point of what I'm about to do now. So what's the app I'm going to build? Literally was inspired about this today. I was doing, some devotional time this morning, and I felt like God said, read this text again. You used to read it a lot and see what it means to you different now because you're in a different season in your life. So I read it and I saw a whole bunch of new things. And I was like, what if there is a tool that could help me better see the theme in the text? So the text I was reading was Psalms 51. Normally Psalms 51, I always read it from a perspective of, David had screwed up and it's sin, 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 forgive me, forgive me, forgive me, help me, help me, help me. I read it again today, and it seemed to me like as I was reading it, like I'm not hearing a lot of stuff here. I'm seeing a lot of God. You, God, will cleanse me. You, God, will forgive me. You, God, deserve the mercy. You, God. So I'm like, maybe my take on this text was completely wrong. So if I could just linguistically analyze it with AI, hey, maybe I could get a quick insight into the text versus what reading the text from my own lens. So it's a very simple tool. I am going to put the tool online for free. You can use it for free as well until credits become too expensive and I can't afford that anymore. But for the time being, it'll be there. I'll drop the link to the app if we get it built and if it's done. Because like I said, it's the first time I'm doing this, so I have no guarantee this will work. So let's start building the app. So first thing I'm going to do, share my screen. So building an app. If the first thing I want to do is build an app, I like to use this because you're going to need a logo to very quickly build a logo. So design me a logo for a app to do text analysis using AI. Make it colorful and soothing. This is ChatGPT's new model. It does this graphics design really, really, really well. So tip number one, build a logo. Obviously, you could tweak this once it builds the logo, etc., and do different iterations of it. I'm not even do iterations of it. I'm not a graphics designer, so whatever it comes up with, that's what we'll use. So while it's designing the logo, may take a moment, I'll let it do the logo. The next thing I like to do is what I call the scamper analysis. So when you do the webinar, we give out a workbook. Workbook is free, obviously, and a part of the workbook is what I call Scamper. It's a publicly known paradigm for analyzing an app. So it asks questions like what elements could be substituted. That's what the Scamper stands for. What features and ideas could be combined, etc. And the next thing I do is something called Moscow. Essential features list using the Moscow prioritization. Must have, should have, could have, won't have yet. That's the Moscow prioritization. So I fill this out for any app idea I have. And why? You want to be very concise and focused, and you want to kind of do the research and actually have put some thought into it. This was my first idea. Maybe I do it better if it's like this. So you're trying to narrow down your idea and flesh it out very clearly. These two frameworks are a quick method of allowing you to do that. You also get an actual worksheet to do this in. So the worksheet, there's a Scamper with the questions, and then the yellow is what I filled in. So, what could be done, et cetera, et cetera. And this is the Moscow, the minimum essential features. So must have block of text to display LLM for analysis, etc. Should have these things, a word cloud, theme and topical analysis, could have these things, won't have PDF file exception, user functionality to save user stuff and storage of any data and or any payment because it will be 100% free. So this is my Moscow analysis. Obviously, I've done this offline before. This is a worksheet. I save this. So now I have my analysis of what the app is going to be. I've thought it through. I've done a Scamper analysis to make it to improve on it, etc. And now this, I have what's called a super prompt. And let's go and see the status on the logo. Yep, there's it. It's perfect. So I'm going to save this logo. I love this as a logo. And we're going to save this as text analysis logo. If you're chatting to me, I can't look at chat because I'm in here by myself, but I assume people are able to watch this. Text analysis logo, save. So now I got my logo, pretty neat. I could have said other things about it, like give me the colors, etc. I'm not even gonna bother with that. So I'm done with the logo, done. So I have my analysis as well. And now I go to the AI tools. The tool I'm gonna use for this is, I like to use Claude. So I have what's called a super prompt. And the super prompts is a very, very specific and complicated prompt that you can use. And we share these prompts with you. They're built based on best practices and stuff we've tested and stuff. So based on the attached CSV file, create a prompt to submit my code to AI code creator to make an app for me. The CSV file is that file that we just created in the Excel sheet, the template. So it is here on my desktop. I saved it. There's the worksheet, text analysis worksheet. And the worksheet is there, and there's my super prompt, and I run my super prompt. I'm going to save a little bit of time. It's going to tell me exactly, what it's going to do. And now it's going to take that prompt and it's going to make a more detailed prompt for me. That prompt I'm going to be able to give to what I call my code developer. So back in the day, you used to need to be programmer to do this kind of stuff. Nowadays, there are AI tools that are trained on code languages. So this tool, if you give it instructions in English, Lovable is your superhuman full stack engineer. It can build an app. We're going to see if I'm right or if I'm crazy. So let's look at what Claude comes up with. A bit longer, waiting. Thank you for your patience. In the meantime, I'm going to give this the logo that we made. So there is the logo. And then the prompt is here. So Claude will have created the prompt. There's the prompt. And I just cut and pasted it from Claude, the super prompt that created a prompt. There's the prompt. And the prompt is basically, you are a user experience design expert who specializes in creating intuitive text analysis applications, because it read the file that we created, the worksheet, so it knows it's a text analysis. I need you to design a comprehensive text analysis application with a modern visual dashboard, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Following requirements, and I'm going to add, use the logo attached as the main logo and use those colors. Boom. So now this tool is going to take that prompt that I just gave it and the logo, and it's going to do some work in AI, and you can see it's spinning up something here. That's thinking. That's what that little bead here is. Yeah, you see the arrow? So it's done some thinking. Okay. So it's answered me back. Lovable. Your request for text analysis with a modern natural seek interfaces like Tableau and Looker, but focused on natural language processes. I am inspired by the gradient color scheme in your logo, so it picked up the colors, which will form the foundation of our design. For the first version, I'll create a clean, intuitive interface that makes text analysis accessible with minimal clicks while providing comprehensive insights. So it added that. Features I'll implement: clean, modern interface, text input area with analysis options, dashboard with multiple visualization types, theme and topical analysis sections, copy functionality for each insight, toggle for Bible language analysis, sentiment, complexity, and readability matrix. Let's create this beautiful functional text analysis application. It's now making the code, literally. It's uploading. This is what it's doing over here. And that's as simple as it is. I'm going to look over now and see if there's anything in the chat. He said he can't see his chat while doing this. Hey, what's up? I see my peeps over here in the building. Just looking, just peeking at the chat. Thanks for joining, y'all. Love it, love it, love it. So it's still working as it should. Take a sip of water. Like I said, this is live and it's in real time, but a part of what I'm trying to demonstrate is exactly how quickly it can do this. Like this doesn't require, years and years and years of work and, hours. Like it's going to be this quick. In a matter of minutes, we're going to see a sample up here with the logo that it just created and with all the analysis and all. Like it's that simple. So many of you know me as a tech person. As a tech person, I am not a programmer. And this is not an exaggeration. The last time I programmed was in the late 80s. First job coming out of college, I programmed in a language called Clipper. That language was a database programming language. It does not exist any longer. I did the job because I needed the job and I did it. I hated it. I didn't. And that's when I knew for sure programming was not for me. So that language doesn't exist. I can't use the information that I had from it. So trust me when I tell you, I am not a programmer. So you can see here, it's writing the different components. I'll do something else while this is thinking, and it'll think for a couple of seconds. So let's look at, where are we? The logo. So there. Here, so this is what it created. And like all AI tools, you could have said, print the palette for me to use. And then it'll tell you what colors it used. So you can get, different things. And these are the hex codes of the palette. This is useful if you're ever going to go and print stuff or print logos or print t-shirts or something like that. Now, the purple is this color, the gradient orange is this color, the neural network is this color, the background is white, and you have the actual codes. So if you need a downloadable Adobe Swatch Exchange, it can provide all of that for you as well. So this is just one of the easy tools. You saw it literally one stupid little prompt. And I could have said something else. I could have said, put a horse in the middle of it. We do that for kicks and giggles. Put a book in the middle of it. And it'll recreate a new logo, similar, but with a book in the middle. Let's see what our programmer is coming up with, writing the Bible analysis part. The AI apologist, you know it, bro. So some of you are I've had this question before. I'll talk about this for a second while we're waiting on this to spin up its preview. Why do I even care about this? Like, why is this on a Bible hacking channel? Why is me as a Christian focus on this? Because very genuinely, I believe, and I've done a lot of these talks. I've spoken to a couple thousand people in the last from January to now. So what's that? Three months or so. In the last 3 months, I've spoken to a couple thousand people at churches, at events, at master classes, etc., about this topic, and 90% of it was to Christian audiences. The pushback I often get is, this is the mark of the beast or whatever. But I suggest to you, so it gave an error. So it's say try to fix, no problem. And this is what happens if you have a programmer. Sometimes the human programmer, will also have an error. So it's now for the code present. I get the following error. I think step by step to try to resolve it. The error is telling us D3 model is missing. Let's fix this by installing the D3 package. So now it's doing it. Done. Boom. So like errors you can address, and all you need to do is usually click and it'll figure it out on its own. Back to what I was saying. I think there's a huge gospel opportunity in using AI. Not only can you get the gospel out there faster, get the word out there faster, et cetera, but I suggest to you, I think there's also an opportunity to engage with the younger generations that may not have any interest in anything church related, or not find relevance to church related things, but they find relevance in tech. I could tell you for me, I'm a techie today because a old pastor in the Caribbean in a 5 mile by 7 mile island looked at me as a kid and said, I think you should be running sound. So I got close to the band, close to the sound team. I read the manuals for the old Yamaha soundboard, and I became an expert on running sound simply because I liked technology. The pastor didn't know why. I didn't know why. I was like 7, 8, 9 years old. I was a kid, but I was naturally drawn towards tech. And the pastor was wise enough to see that. So he gave me a avenue to express something God had put inside of me in the church. So now I want to go to church because that's my expression of something that God planted inside me. Jeremiah 1:4, before you were formed, I knew you. So God knew tech was inside of me. I just needed to figure it out. And that I had the opportunity to figure it out in church. So our app is basically built. I've installed the D3 package. So now it's there. This is the app. So now I can say, add the Claude. That's the AI I like to use. AI um, implementation 2. Now what it's going to do is going to ask you, okay, if you want to use Claude, you got to connect to Claude with something called an API key. And API keys, if you're in Claude, you pay a subscription to it. You can tell it generate an API key for you. It's like a big password. And I'll need to add the Claude AI implementation for text analysis. Let's build this feature. And now it's building it. But this is the app, like it's there already. So I could put, let's pick a nice Bible verse while we're doing this. So let's pick Psalms 51. And let's go for Bible Gateway. And here's a nice version. I like an NIV. Let's take if I could find a Christian Standard. Yeah, there, CSB, like that version. So now at Psalms 51, I am going to copy it. Let's go all the way down. And now I've copied Psalms 51, and that's what I'm going to be using for my testing. So let's go back over to Lovable, put this in here. It's adding the Claude implementation, text for analysis, boom, analyze text. And it's now built. The app is built. Themes, this is fake data because it's not doing an actionable analysis yet. Word count, reading time, text, complex time required thing. Here's the analysis it's built. Topical analysis, this is what the topic's about. Sentiment analysis, overall positive. Readability, these are the reading aids. These are common things for reading. This is a word cloud because I like word cloud so you can see what the biggest word is. But all of this is fake data. It's now writing the actual analysis part of it, where it's going to actually analyze it using AI. Once it builds the connection to the AI, you'll see it build that. So then the next time I do this, it won't be fake data like this. It'll be an actual analysis of Psalms 51. So like this is the app. Would you do a virtual presentation at a church? Or if so, how could a church book you? Yes, I would do a presentation at a church. Virtual would be possible. In person would be better. I'll do either. Have your church ping me on social. FYI, every time I've done this kind of stuff for churches, I've done it for free. I can't promise that I'll do it for free forever. So like if your church wants, the best way to do it is in person so we can have Q&A, so I can ask questions. I can answer questions. I could like plug in my laptop on your screens and show you this. I could do something like this. I could walk you through the analysis at a high level. Typically it takes about an hour. I'll gladly do it. If I can do it virtual and it's for a church, like legit a church, I can't imagine I'm going to charge for it unless there's some really weird question. Meaning, if you have a weird ask, like I need you to actually help me build an app or something like that, I probably can't do that for free. But just walking you through this, I'd gladly do it for a church. I feel like this is a way I can serve the church. So yes, reach out, ping me on social. Let's set it up. I've added Claude implementation. Both models provide different analysis. Boom, let's do that. Claude API key. Claude API key. And now it's going to ask me for that API key, which is here. As you can see, we're almost done. Like I don't know how long it's been. I can't see a timer on here. I'm sure there's one somewhere, but like this is, it's nearly done. Mm. As soon as it finishes thinking about this, I'll have it provide this. So let's go back to input and search model default AI, Claude AI. I want to use a Claude AI. I'm going to, so it's offering you to do it with a cheap AI or Claude. I'm going to give it Claude and I'm going to pay for the Claude. So I'll give it a key. So every time someone uses this on the public internet, they'll be using my key, meaning it charges me. So like I want to make this completely, totally free for, people that are on this stream, etc. Uh, see my answer is there. Would I do a yeah, excellent testimony. It's just the facts though. That's not some made up testimony. That's like literally, and like you got to imagine, this is the late '80s. No, I was a boy, so this is the early '70s, mid '70s. Like there was no internet, there was no personal computers, it didn't exist. But this pastor, which is an old Caribbean dude, like he wasn't some tech expert. He wasn't a celebrity. He was just he was my neighborhood pastor. I grew up going to church at his church. I hung out with his sons in school. Like, it was a normal dude. He was just sensitive enough to the Holy Spirit to say, this dude is always breaking TVs and taking screwdrivers to stuff that he shouldn't be touching. It'll get him shocked one of these days, electrical shock. I'm gonna give him an avenue for this. And it was as simple as that. But here, when the real application key would be used, make the key permanent. I'll provide it now. In a second, it'll pop up a box saying, okay, so give me your permanent key to local storage so it persists between sessions. We're almost done. That's it. And in a second, I'm going to say publish, and then the app is going to be live. I'll drop you the link and test it out. And the good thing of this tool is, and this is just one of many AI tools, like, creating the logo that we did back here, wherever it was. That's another one. The logo. And remember we said build, didn't we say build like a, there's the one with the book. So it updated it with a book. I like that. So this is without the book. It's the same logo with the book. Nice, did a good job. So this is another AI tool. So even if you don't have graphic designers, you now have access to a graphic designer. Even if you don't have, coding, you now have access to someone who can build code for you. That's the value of AI. You have access to tools, democratizes technology tools that you wouldn't have access to normally. Loaded when the user returns. This provides more seamless, won't every time. Gotcha. So we are good to go. So here I'll enter, where is it? My text again. Where was the Bible text? Didn't I have Bible? Oh, there it is. It's right there. So there's Psalms 51 again. Copy. And we'll go to here, text analysis, drop it in, and we'll say use Claude. Enter your Claude API key. So here, paste my key. Boom. Analyze text. So now it's going to send all of this text to Claude, and it's going to do an analysis. Claude has analyzed it, and this is the actual analysis of it. It's neutral, cognitive structure, et cetera, et cetera. So this is still, it did the analysis, but it's still showing the dummy data. So I'm going to tell it now, update the dashboard part to show actual data received back from Claude. That's probably going to be the last step. I'll update the analysis dashboard to show actually would be received by handle appropriately. Let's make these changes. So now it's creating that tool. Done. So what a lot of people see when they see these types of tools is, oh my God, I'm gonna just, go and dump stuff in there. The key to being successful with this is some of the techniques we teach in the webinar, such as that worksheet, which I did not do live for you. I had this pre-filled out. Forces you to put some thought. And this is a common business principle. You don't want to build a business on, I'm gonna try to solve every customer problem. You want to narrow your scope so you can really focus on who your ideal customer is. The Scamper and the Moscow paradigms demand you do that. They encourage you or incline you to think about it like that so that you can get a nice narrow scope. And that's where success is. So, you know, this is one of the techniques we teach. The super prompt that I referred to earlier, that's another technique we teach. Most of the prompts I use, and like if you're someone mentioned ActiveScribe, if you're an ActiveScribe user, the prompts in the background of ActiveScribe are 10, 15 pages long. It's not a simple, hey, summarize this thing for me, it's from the Bible. It's in depth. So I teach you about and I share the super prompts with you so that you can, you know, get a lot of this stuff done yourself. But those are techniques you need to know in the background, so that you become better at doing this actual type of stuff. I'll update the analysis dashboard. Boom, I don't need to update that password. And I'm going to say again, my Psalms 51 one more time, and I'm going to dump it here. And I'm going to tell it use Claude AI. The API key is there already, and it's saved. As soon as it's done, I'm going to tell it analyze the text. Once that's done and it does the actual analysis, we're done. We're live. We got an app. So as promised, wouldn't have been long. Just want to make it really useful for you, the audience. And we've built an app just that quickly. This tool is lovable. It's not my tool. The dashboard now clearly shows where the app was used with a prominent badge at the top for the results. I've updated the word cloud component to use specific colors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So here, let's do a refresh. So it shows the new app, and let's give it the text again, and let's tell it to use Claude. The API key is there already. Analyze text. It's analyzing. Claude has analyzed this text in the desert. This go to multiple conceptual layers. 350, 2-minute reading time. Education, cognitive science, overall sentiment is neutral. Word cloud. Boom. So we're done. The data is now there. It says powered by Claude. And now I'm going to go back to input. I'm going to say publish. And when I publish it, it's going to give me a address where it's published to. I'll share that address. So let me go ahead and look at the screen again. Here, boom. So I will share that address with you as the top comment so that you can go and test it and do it yourself. But that was as simple as it is to build an app live using AI tools. Hope this was cute, helpful. I'm glad that it worked, and stay connected. Like I'll also drop, if your church wants to do something like this, or your business or whoever, reach out. Business, obviously, I'm not going to do it for free, but churches in general, I want to help. I want to serve the body. So just reach out. I'll dedicate my time. If I got to get in a plane and come there, you'll fly me there. But I'll gladly do it in person. In person works better. I'll do it virtually as well. It's doable. So whatever your church wants to do, let's go. Thanks, y'all. Going to end the stream now.